My last question for you before I pass it off to Marcus. This one is a little more personal, less about process and et cetera. What inspired you to get into this type of work, to want to be a registrar, or to want to be a poll worker, to want to help people vote? What inspired you to start doing that, and what keeps you motivated to keep doing it?
That. I was in law school. I won't say when, but it was a long time ago. And I had a summer clerkship or an internship, unpaid internship with the Northern District Court of Ohio. And there was an election that went badly in Cuyahoga County, Ohio, which is where Cleveland is, in 2006. And it was a 3-member panel put together to look at what went wrong with the election and what could be done going forward. And then that 3-member panel made the dubious decision of deciding to hire law students, or grunts, if you will, from the local law schools. And so I was one of those grunts that got to sort of look into, right, why certain election equipment was sole sourced when it shouldn't have been, and vice versa, where poll worker training went awry and things of that ilk. And I really enjoyed that experience, and I've been working basically in that field ever since. Fast forward to today, sort of my role here. I think that that democracy here in the United States is, I think it's fair to say, in some respects, sort of under threat, right? We're at a critical inflection point. And I think that, I have twin 7-year-old boys, and one day they're going to ask me what I did when we sort of take a look back at this. And I certainly, I'm hopeful that I can say when we get to look back on that, and I have even less hair than I have today, that I sort of tried to fight on the side for trying to ensure that everyone's vote counted. And that even when folks tried to subvert the election process, that I stood tall, right, with my colleagues and others to sort of ensure that this sort of great experiment, right, stood the test of time.
Mark Coakley. I started back in college when I was a political science major. And my last year, my senior year, I had to do an internship. And this was during a presidential year in the 90s. And when I did my internship, I picked the elections office since it was a presidential year. FMLA had just started up a few years earlier, back in 1993. And the office supervisor went on medical leave and did not come back. And so after my internship was over, they offered me her job. And that's what started the process. And 2 years later, I became a director of elections in North Carolina, and then moved here to Virginia 21 years ago. So it's been a few years that I've been doing this. It's a great process. First-time voters are the best part, even if they're 18 or 83. It does not matter. When you see that first-time voter and give them that sticker and everybody applauds, that's what keeps us coming back each day. So I'll leave it at that.